There is absolutely no guidebook in life for a man. I mean, really, for real. Like, it's not like there's like a little, what's that called? Like, one of those little guidebooks that they usually put in, certain things that you buy. For example, like equipment, if you buy like a laptop or like some sort of technology. And within the package, there's like this little guidebook that you can follow the instructions. It has these little drawings and stuff like that. As a man, there's literally none of that. But I've realized that what there is, however, is notebooks instead of guidebooks. And here's the little difference between those two. Like, for example, like a guidebook is going to tell you, hey man, this is how you do XYZ, and you just simply do it like that. Simple. That's the correct way, and there is no other way besides that. Now the thing with a notebook is that you essentially take notes. But instead of notebook, maybe let's just use the word journals. What there is, for men, instead of guidebook, I would say there's journals. So let's just say that. And the good thing about a journal is that it actually documents the mistakes that led to actually understanding that, hey, maybe we should try this. Maybe that this is the way. And that's the really, really good thing. And I've been realizing lately that as a man myself, in no way, shape, or form am I just going to wake up and have it figured it out. Like I'm not going to have everything figured out. Like I'm not going to just wake up and it's like, oh yeah, I already know it. Nah, it's not gonna happen like that. But instead, I myself as a man need to have records of my mistakes. And that either can be in a journal, it can either be my thought process, but at least you need to reflect on those mistakes in order to actually get better in the future. And I really, really do think that not only do you need journals for yourself, but you need to also pay attention to other people's journals. Now, when I say journal, it doesn't have to simply be in a physical sense where you actually have a little journal that you document things in. It can simply be stories, right? Like, if let's just say, you want to get married, for example, and, you want to know how to navigate that. Like, it would be really good to actually ask somebody who is married about, hey, how has it been? Like, what are the goods and what are the bads? Like, how do you navigate XYZ? How do you make it happen this way or that way? Just simply ask for advice. So in this way, that is what keeping track of other people's journal is. But the good thing is that as men, having journals, right, keeping track of other people's journals doesn't have to simply be people that are alive. It can be people that are long gone. What I mean by that? Well, there are books. There are many books in this world right now. There are like trillions of books, right? That talks about mistakes, that talks about issues that men like us, men like me and you, have gone through, right? Have made mistakes, done all these things, right? And there are books that literally talk about those mistakes and talk about how to overcome them. Literally. So this video is to really actually highlight the fact that, first off, the thing that really changed my perspective is that there is no guidebook, but there are journals and there are notebooks. So you yourself, you need to develop that. And with that being said, keep track of other people's journals too. Ask them for advice from their journals and notebooks, and implement those and put them in your journal and notebook, and that will serve as game. They're gonna put you on game. And most importantly, you need to simply understand that in order for you to be jotting things down in your journal, you need to experience things. You can't just sit there in the journal or in a notebook and not experience anything and just be jotting down things that you think. Right? If let's just say you buy a notebook to Basically, you want to have that notebook for things that are for maybe mathematic class, right? Mathematical equations and stuff like that, right? For like whatever. You need to be able to you need to go to a math class in order to actually know what you need to jot down. So in this sense, going to the math class is the experience. You need to go there. You need to actually listen to the teacher. You need to do the homework. And as you're doing that, you're jotting down how you got to this answer and how this answer is better than that answer, or how this one is the correct one and this one is not the correct one. But you see, the thing is this: unlike mathematics, right? As a man, a lot of the time there is not there is anything there isn't a thing such as, right, there isn't a thing such as this answer is better than this one and this is the right one. Nah, not really. There's probably simply, hey, you know what, here's a couple of options. Now all these options are equally good. Maybe some of them might be better than the other ones, but essentially you're gonna get the understanding that sometimes there is no right option, like no specific right option that you should choose. And oh yeah, like, this is the one, this is the answer that the teacher's looking for. No, it's not like math. But what you can do is you can simply say, okay, cool, like, there is all these options. There are a couple options that I already know that these options are definitely not it at all. These are nothing close to the answer. But there's a couple of options. Those options are as close to the answer as it gets. And those options are the options that you're essentially going to have to be the one to make them become the right choice. Now, for example, that could be you deciding to go with maybe two jobs, right? They're both jobs that are cool, but maybe one of them is giving you perks that the other one is not giving you. Maybe one of them is actually further than the other one, right? And it's just like there are pros and cons for both. Now, the thing is this: it seems like it's a hard choice. It seems like this one might be the right one, but essentially, nah. Like, in all logic, no. What's going to be the right one is how you make it work. Can you make this job right here work? Can you make this one right there work also? Now, you simply have to go with one choice and simply be like, okay, now here's how I'm going to make this work in my favor. This job right here is further than this one. I'm still going to pick it, even though it's further in location, even though it pays me less. But it maybe that job has certain perks that this one doesn't have. So therefore, I'm going to utilize those perks in order to make my life easier, making it worthwhile. Do you kind of see where I'm getting at? Right? And then in the same sense, some people will look at that job that's further, that pays less, and even though it has certain perks, they'll be like, nah, I'm good. I don't want that one. I want the job that's closer to my house, that's going to actually pay me more. And that's what they care about. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. They just simply went with a choice that's better suited for them. But what the bad choice would be now is to simply not pick and be unemployed. That's a bad choice. So what we need to do is stay away from the bad choices. That's what I've learned. You just stay away from the bad choices and all the things that you shouldn't do, but just simply focus on the things that you can do and like the different options that you have that will, I guess, essentially make your life easier. Now, with that being said, the reason why in the beginning I mentioned about keeping track of other people's journals and also thinking about books, right? Because there have been thousands of men, millions of men, billions of men that went through the same thing that you probably go through, the same struggles, the same everything, right? And a lot of them probably wrote a book about it. Now, with that being said, there is a journal, there is a notebook, like I said in the beginning, that I would actually advise everybody to read. And that is going to be this book right here. Hopefully you guys can see it. This is Marcus Aurelius. I'm pretty sure some of you have seen this book before, probably on social media, not sure. But listen, man, this book right here, I actually have to reread it. But when I read this book, I remember that I was so obsessed with this book to the point where I was just like, my whole mindset about life itself just kind of shifted, because this book is actually a real journal. This is not a book. If you did not know, this person right here had a journal, an actual physical journal that they would keep in order to track their not track, but mostly to just keep themselves in check, to talk about maybe their emotions, the things that they're going through in life, just simply their struggles and failures and etc. And that person is Marcus Aurelius. And of course, he was a Greek emperor, a great Greek emperor. And when he died, they found the journal and they wrote this book about it. But it's essentially the same thing. It's literally the same thing. In fact, to actually show you how this is different than a lot of books is because even maybe now, let me just see if you guys can see. I'm going to have to change the settings in order so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Even now, you can kind of see how there's numbers all over right here. Now that's different than most books, correct? Now I have to change the settings back to what it was. Okay, now we're good. Now with that being said, right, like this is not just a book. This is an actual journal. And the reason why I say you need to keep in mind of what others actually tell you of what they have in their journals and what they have in their notebooks is because they be having some sauce. They be having some game. Now I'm going to read one little paragraph from this book, right? And that is probably going to be for people that are closed-minded, right? People that always think that, whatever somebody else says, that's their opinion. I don't care about what nobody else says, and nobody can change my mind. If you think like that, that's okay. But it's not okay to remain like that. So I'm going to read something to you. If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change. I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone. The harm is to persist in one's own self-deception and ignorance. Bro, if this is not game, then I don't know what is. And by the way, I actually have my finger right here on that same page so I can actually remember the page to read this to you guys. But here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to close the book. And I have not read this book in a long time. So essentially, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a random page, right? And I'm going to read just one random paragraph from it. Oh, this one is the end of the book. It has a whole bunch of things. So let me just start again. It's just going to be just one random page. This is a random page. I don't even know what page it is. So I'm going to show you why it is sometimes essential to get game from other people, bro. Okay. Well, this is just going to be a random paragraph again. They cannot admire you for intellect, granted, but there are many other qualities of which you cannot say, but that's not that's not the way I am made. So display those virtues which are wholly in your own power: integrity, dignity, hard work, self-denial, contentment, kindness, independence, simplicity, discretion, and magnanimity. Whoa, bombo clot. Hey, man. What type of word is this? Magnanimity. Yeah, I got it right. Magnanimity. Damn, I probably need to cut out this part of the video. You're probably looking at me like that. You're like, well, this nigga's stupid. Nah, bro, I just never seen this word before. And since I didn't read the book in a long time, I'm just like, damn. So yeah. And it proceeds to say, do you not see how many virtues you can already display without any excuse of lack of talent or aptitude? So basically saying that, hey, bro, there are certain things that you're born with that, like some people are going to be better at it than you. It's probably one of their gifts. For example, some people have like this insane talent when it comes to drawing, and some people don't. That's just how it is. But the thing is this. You can actually maybe work on one of the things that it mentioned, which is hard work. You can actually work on that. You can work on learning how to start sketching, right? And you do it step by step. You put in the work. You put in the hard work in order to actually do and become good at drawing, right? Like, it wasn't a gift initially, but you can actually acquire something close to it. You can actually acquire some sort of talent. Well, not talent, because talent is usually something that you're born with, right? But let's just say practice will make improvement. So this book, just by reading 2 paragraphs, one from a page that I originally had in mind, then another one from a page that I just simply picked by random, you can kind of see, bro, how like this is a journal. It's a notebook that a man from centuries ago decided to sit down with himself and think and simply say, you know what? This is the things that I went through. I'm going to document them and I'm going to learn from them. Now, he did not sit down and say, hey, you know what? Damn, like, I've been through so many things, I've been through so many struggles. How can I be a man? Like, how do I man? He didn't turn man into a verb. Nah, he simply asked himself, hey, you know what, man? Like, the answers that I'm looking for are within the experiences that I've been through. And I think it is very essential to go back to what I mentioned in the previous in the previous minutes of this video. It was just simply that there is no guidebook, bro. The only thing that is close to a guidebook, the only thing that I actually think is a guidebook is the Bible. Straight up. The Bible is not just a guidebook, but it is a guidebook to not just be a man, but to be a man of God, which is on a totally different level, right? But here's the funny thing too, is that I think that, when it comes to religion, for example, right? And even I myself, I had to realize that, like, I'm Christian, but at the same time, I don't just open the Bible and read and memorize everything that it says and just simply say, you know what, cool, let's call it a day. Because I don't think that's, how can I say that? I don't think that's logical. And when I say logical, I simply mean that when I open the Bible, that opens a spiritual realm. It opens something that is different, that is not from here. Now, the teachings are from 40 men, from 40 different time periods. They all speak about one thing, and that is the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Right? And with that being said, there is this disconnected pattern of thought throughout all of them, which is something that is simply insane. They never met each other, right? Some has, but some hasn't. I'm not sure, but I think that a lot of them have not met each other because they've existed in different time periods, right? Now, with that being said, one can actually look at this and maybe read a chapter from the Bible and not really understand it for real, because it is on a different level that you really need to be in that state to really grasp what it means. Cool. But now, to gain knowledge, right, and to gain some sort of game from your fellow human beings that have existed, that do exist right now, that is more logical. Because it's like, yo, like, they have gone through it. And now, if you trust these people enough, and if you admire them enough, and also you have to make sure that you're admiring the right people, right? You cannot be admiring any dude like, I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking about, but Fit, and I think that they're called Fit and Fresh, something like that. Yeah, Fit and Fresh. They had this podcast where they just bash women, something like that, telling dudes to sleep with multiple women, whatever. This the third, that women are evil. Yo, bro, I'm pretty sure if you're a dude, you've seen them around at least once, or you probably watched a couple of their videos and you was like, and you was actually going with their thought process. So now, with that being said, right, actually reading books from these people that have existed in the past and that have gone through these things, you will see that the things that they're talking about all throughout this book, everything that is mentioned are actually things that are going on right now in this present moment. None of it is different. None of it is different. And actually is the same thing with the Bible. If you read the Bible, the same thing that are happening in the Bible that is being spoken about in the Bible are happening right now. The same thing that happened, all these stories, maybe a lot of it is literally supernatural. It's like, oh man, like this is like a fairy tale, right? But the teachings from it, all of it literally predicts and really simply talks about this specific period of time that we're in. And now, with that being said, our future, our upcoming times that are coming, the times of maybe even hundreds of years from now, hundreds of years, thousands of years from now. Listen, bro, even this book is still going to be relevant. The Bible, for sure, is still going to be relevant because the Bible has been around for at least 200, well, no, not 200, but 2,000 years. And for it to be relevant all throughout its time is simply crazy. So that's what I'm saying. There is no guidebook. There is no, hey, man, just go ahead and do this. Yeah, but if you don't do this, you're not a man. If you don't do this, X, Y, Z, if you don't sleep with enough women, bro, like, bro, I'm telling you, bro, like you're not a man. You know what I'm saying to you? If you don't have 6 figures in your bank account, if you don't have 7, if you don't have 8, you're not a man. If you don't have that Lambo, you're not a man. Bro, come on, bro. Like, bro, come on, bro. Just let's be for real, bro. There's no such thing as that, bro. Everybody's on a different path. You know what I'm saying? Some people are on a path where it may not be too good. It may not be too beneficial. It may not be too ethical, right? They're doing things that maybe they should not be doing. But at the same time, what if that thing that they went through is something that they're going to look back from now on and reflect on and say, you know what, bro, I'm going to improve on this. So that's what I'm saying, bro. Having journals and notebooks is important, not just on the physical sense, but on the mental sense for you to keep track of it. And the reason why I'm saying that is because let's just say you have a physical journal. You write down the things that you feel and the things that you went through, blah, 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 and that's cool. But you never actually reflect on the things that you wrote down. There is no point of having that journal, bro. I promise you there's no point. It's not going to do nothing for you at all. But if you meditate on it and you actually understand it and you say, okay, man, so I'm going to improve on it. I've done this mistake 2, 3 times, 5 times. You know what? I ain't trying to do it a 6th time. So let me change X, Y, Z. And all these times, all these previous times, I've actually done it in this specific way. So therefore, because I've always done it in this way and I failed doing it in that way, how about this time, maybe the 7th time, the 8th time, the 10th time, let me just change this about it and that about it. And let's just see where it leads me then. That's what it's all about, bro. That's what it's all about. So if you are watching this video right now, bro, and you think that there's a magical guidebook to being a man, bro, there's not. You're not gonna find it. Again, like I said, the closest one is the Bible and having a connection with God. And those convictions are going to serve as some sort of guide. But at the same time, us men, like a lot of times, bro, like we want something physical that we can read that's going to say, hey, man, here's the right way, do X, Y, Z. And if you do not do it, then therefore, hey, man, like you just... Like we want something that's going to not only confirm, but it's going to reassure, it's going to give clarity, it's going to give all these things that we need in order to simply say that this is the answer. The same way mathematics. Bro, 2 + 2 is 4. There's nothing that you can say that's going to change that answer. There's nothing. You put 2 + 2 = 6 on an exam, you're actually going to get an F. Simple. Like it's not going to be the right answer. So a lot of us, man, like probably most of us, probably all of us, we just want, oh yeah, bro, like I need the exact answer. But no, bro, it's not always linear. Sometimes the actual answer is more like an essay, something that is open, that you can kind of put your own source to it. You can kind of figure it out. And based on who's reading it, they're going to read the essay and be like, okay, that person knows what they talk about. You know what I'm saying to you? So it's like it is two different kind of concept. And also, like, it is just simply 2 different things. That's it. Just to put it into a simple word, just 2 different things. But one of these things is not true, bro. There is no, yeah, bro, like do it like this, bro. Sleep with X amount of women, and now, as soon as you do that, you're an alpha male. Yo, bro, like, imagine sitting in front of your kid, bro, and telling your kid this, like, hey, son, I know, yeah, like, like, do you want to know how to be an alpha male? You got to sleep with X amount of women. You have to puff up your chest and have pride. You got to do X, Y, Z. Like, you just have to have, like, so much money in your bank account to the point where, yo, bro, all these things, bro, like, bro, that shit don't make you a man, bro. Like, I'm just telling you right now, like, that shit does not make you a man. It does not make you a man, bro. Like, and coming from somebody who, well, first off, maybe on the money side, I can't really speak on, what anything that is financial, because first off, not only am I not a financial advisor, but also I'm not one of those people who is financially stable enough to actually tell you anything that has to do with financials. Even when it comes to, let's just say, what's that called? Even on so many levels, like, I'm not that experienced in it, to speak about it. But what I do know is that a lot of dudes have simply said, hey, man, I promise you that physique, that's not all that there is to being a man, right? That money, that's not all that there is to being a man. The amount of girls that you have, that quote unquote rotation that you've been trying to have, that's not all that there is to being a man. You know what I'm saying to you? That pride, that's not all that there is to being a man. Nice clothes and nice fashion, that's not all that there is to being a man. Nice cars, nice house, that's not all that there is to being a man. That's not what makes a man a man. Because the matter, like, listen, bro, the fact is, as soon as you become 18, legally, you are now a man. You are not able to be on your own, bro. You just out there, bro. Some people even start at 17, 16. They're on their own in the streets. They have to make their own money. They have to do X, Y, Z, and they just have it hard. So legally, bro, as soon as you hit that age, you just become a man. So the thing is, if let's just say we're looking at somebody who's maybe 25, We cannot look at them and be like, oh, this person is not a man. They act this way or that way, so therefore they're not a man. They're not a real man. Like, we try to act like the adjective of being a man is something that is like maybe like some sort of perfection. We're trying to act like being a man is something that is other than simply being a male that is 18 years old or older. Like, yeah, bro, that's all that being a man is. Like, being an actual, like, the definition of being a man is simply a male that is of age, of that age. But now, if we talk about the mental side of it, the what's that called? The spiritual side of being a man, that's different. That's completely different. Because now you have to start embodying masculinity. You have to actually start embodying those things that cannot be measured based on how old you are, or whether you're, you know what I'm saying, whether you have a house or not, whether you have like you have slept with 60 plus women, 1,000 plus women, whether you have the Lambo or whether you have a little Toyota. Like, it's gonna be these things that literally have nothing to do with that, with what you have. And I think that I've noticed myself that, bro, from now on, no matter what people say, I'm a man. But am I a great man? Am I a good dude? Like, am I a kind man? Am I a man that is that embodies, what's that called? Maybe am I a responsible man? Am I a man who holds himself accountable to certain things? Well, that is up for debate. That is going to be not only dependent on my actions, but also is going to dependent on the choices that I'm making. Action and choices, basically. So the thing is, as easily as somebody can be a good man, you can also be a bad man. Either way, you're a man, bro. Bro, either way, you're a man. But now, I think instead of thinking, okay, how to be a man, let's just think about, how can I be a great man? How can I be a man who does X, Y, Z? We need to get a little bit more specific when it comes to our goals, bro. You can't just think to yourself, okay, how can I be a man? Like you're not already a man. Like, bro, you literally go to the men's bathroom. You go to the men's bathroom and you pull your shit out and you pee in a urinal. You're a man, bro. You're officially a man. You know what I'm saying to you? You wear your little boxers. Like, you go to the men's section when you shop at any clothing brand. So yes, bro, you're a man, bro. On your state ID or whatever it is, it says M for male. And if you're over 18, you're now a male. Like, you're actually now a man, right? If you're 17, maybe people will look at you and call you, hey, young man, because now you're young. You're not necessarily like a man yet because you're not 18, but technically, once you turn 18, boom. Now, back in the old age, it didn't really matter. You had dudes that were 12 years old and they were crowned king. And people would look at him and be like, that's a man. So that right there is up for debate, bro. Like, how to actually be a man sometimes, it's up for debate. People are going to tell you, and you're going to have these people that literally do not have any male figure in their life telling you how to actually be a man, which is crazy. You're going to have women that's going to do that. You're going to have dudes that's going to do that, tell you that, oh, if you don't do X, Y, Z, then you're not a man. Like, bro, bro, come on. But the thing is, what is undeniably, what we cannot deny, right? What is undeniably true is, hey, bro, like, being good is something that you cannot deny. Being kind is something that you cannot deny. Being responsible for your action is something that you cannot deny. Being truth to your words is something that you cannot deny. Having certain virtues like, virtues for themselves are something that you cannot deny. You cannot deny courage. You cannot deny grit. You cannot deny all these things, right? So instead of how can I be a man, let's just ask ourselves, man, how can I be a con man, a courageous man? How can I be a man who, I don't know, whatever adjective that you want to put in front of being a man, whatever you think that is, bro, just figure that out. But by no means, bro, just go around taking advice from people who just don't even seem like they have father figures in their life, trying to tell you how to be a man. And they usually start with sentences like this: as a man, you need to have X amount of women. You need to have the cars. You need to have this. They usually, bro, they usually say this one sentence, bro, as a man. Like, yeah, bro, bro, what do you mean, bro? Those people are the same people, bro. When they 60, when they 70, bro, all these women that you had, all these women that you were trying to sleep with, all those cars that you were trying to get, all those millions that you were trying to get, bro, I promise you ain't gonna serve you nothing. The only thing that you're gonna be left with is, well, all the disabilities that you have now. You can't walk. You probably have, I don't know, like you probably can't move, had a few strokes. At your old age, you're getting ready to die. Now, the only thing that you have to think about is, okay, did I love? Was I a good man? Was I a kind man? What did I do with my time on this earth? Did I actually help people? You're never going to think about how many girls did you F? How many girls did I F up? Like how many dollars did I have in my bank account? Bro, you don't think about that. You ain't got time for that. Plus, you're not even going to pay the hospital bill because you're most likely going to be gone very, very soon, bro. So when you're at that old age, bro, those things don't matter, bro. So why are we trying to tell people how to be a man? But yeah, with that being said, I'm not going to do much talking because I've kind of jumped from a lot of different topics. But the main point of this video was to simply say that, yo, bro, like, being a man is not linear. It's not like, yeah, bro, there's two experiences and you need to keep track of you as a man and like really ask yourself, hey, bro, like, you know what, man, like, what can I improve from all the mistakes that I've made? What can I change? What is the little changes that I can make in my behavior, in my mindset? You know, like, whatever it is, bro, just change it around and just do better and improve. Practice makes improvement, not perfect. We ain't here to be perfect. We ain't here to be a perfect man. Talk about how to be a man. Bro, come on, dog. But now, with that being said, that's really all I have for this video. I'm pretty sure this is like longer than usual. I usually try to keep my videos like under like 10 minutes, 15 at least, at max, 15 minutes at max. But now, hey, this is like a 38-minute video, and I promise you, I'm not going to edit this video. If anything, I'm probably going to edit just like little tiny bit, but I ain't got time for all that editing, bro. I'm not doing that, bro. I'm trying to be raw, and I'm just trying to, you feel me, to simply speak of it how it is. But yeah, so I hope you guys have a great night, and I hope you guys kind of learn something a couple of things that I talked about in this video. Just maybe like, you know, change your perspective on certain things coming from somebody who's 21, who's still figuring it out as a man. So yeah, but before I leave, man, make sure y'all get this book, bro. Make sure you read it. Make sure you, bro, whatever it is, it's not that much. I literally got that book for $11, bro. So yeah. All right. Well, have a great night. Peace out.